Yeah. So what is your religious? Do you have any did you have a religious upbringing? Is it in your family at all, or are you fully not into that?
Well, you're gonna love this actually. So I have a Scottish grandmother who is extremely religious. I
Right.
would put her on the extreme side of Christianity, and
Right.
she loves the Lord. God bless her soul. And she sent me to,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my childhood with her, and I went to church with her, of course, and even got admitted into like Bible camps, which is really cool stuff that the church will do. They basically host free camps for kids that don't have much money. Their parents don't have much money, but they can't really afford summer
Yeah.
camps, so they go with a camp with the church. so so I was in those, and I was
Right.
fully immersed in like in Christianity, like growing up. And it's
Mm.
been really cool to kind of like, you know, go through life and kind of like be in it and then kind of grow out of it, because action sports is tends to be far away from religion in some aspects, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
obviously to get into like with all the rock and roll bands and the drinking and the partying, and that kind of like took me even further away on like the furthest spectrum away from Christianity as possible. But then to get to this level of where you're pushing the sport and doing these things and listening to your intuition and having such crazy experiences while filming these videos and while riding, it makes you almost question, makes you go right back to the beginning, because like I've had certain experiences, and I still have it to this day, where I see vivid visions of me pulling moves, like insane moves,
Wow.
And then I go and I do them.
Yeah.
And sometimes, so sometimes they don't happen right away, and it'll take months, to build up. But sometimes it just happens right away, and it's freaking crazy, man. And sometimes it's
Wow. And
really
where do you
hard.
see these visions, dude?
Well,
Is
I
it?
just I just see them. Like it's crazy, but like I'll see them even before, like like I'll have like me like that Cork 7 on the open loop with the hardtail.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that like
Yep.
years ago. I didn't even know it was me at the time,
Wow.
because I was riding a bike that I didn't ride. I was dressed in a kit that I didn't see, and yet I was going to evolve into that person. This last trail bike project I had similar visions like that. And then you literally get there, and I'm in the moment, and I'm like, wow, I've lived this like already before. And then you're so comfortable in that moment that this thing comes over you, and you just perform at this level that I would say is like 150% of you. You're like 50% over your normal performance level. If it's crazy. And that is
Holy.
almost a religious experience. Okay? So now you have like being an action sport athlete and pushing myself to those limits, right?
Yeah.
I have to fully, look back at religion and go, holy shit, like I'm having fucking crazy experiences out here in the flow state, seeing things, doing things that's freaking, crazy. I don't even have words for it. I could maybe even go to an insane asylum if I fully get into it. If we start throwing like psychedelics in the mix and all that shit, which I'm sure we'll get into later, but it makes you just question the fact of religion. It's like full circle, you know? And there's a great book, Rise of
Mm.
Superman,
Mm.
which gets really into this, and it talks a lot about action sport athletes in the flow state and having such transcendent experiences that a lot of them go back to religion. And Travis Rice, for instance, who was like grown up an atheist,
Mhm.
literally now, I think, I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but he's kind of religious, like literally because of his experiences through action sports. So when in terms of me
Wow.
in religion, it's crazy because I don't really know where I'm at. I'm still exploring it. I don't necessarily like. I don't believe in a God like Christianity, or I don't follow a faith um, like Buddhism or all that stuff. I'm simply, I would say I'm
Mm.
an atheist, but I'm having these questionable religious experiences constantly in action sports, and it questions my atheism.
Dude, wow, you've uncovered something there which I didn't know we'd go down this rabbit hole. So what these visions then, do you know, okay, how do they manifest? You said you know they happen all the time. It's not necessarily in sleep and stuff. And then do you know when you're about, let's say, to drop into that cork 7, you're like, "Oh shit, this is that moment. This is the kit. Oh my god, this is the bike." So it's almost like extreme. What's it called when you feel like you've lived something before? It's like deja vu. It's like extreme deja vu when you've seen almost
and
every element of that thing.
and comfort. Like you're so comfortable because it just feels like this was a dot, like a moment in time where you're just supposed to be right there doing that. And it's like not even you doing it. It's like something else. It's insane. I can't I'm still trying to
Holy.
bring words to it, and I haven't really spoke about it much. And I wonder if there's more action sport athletes that have feelings like this.
I
But
was just
for
going to
me,
ask if you spoke to anyone else
well,
that's had
for
this
me,
or that
it's
goes through this.
so it's just so like that. Like it's so visual. It's insane, and maybe it's meditation because obviously we talk about meditation, and he talks about it in this book where you're like constantly thinking about the future, and then you manifest the
Hmm.
future. I think he kind of touches on that, and maybe I'm doing some of
Yeah.
that stuff. I don't know, but I wouldn't classify it as that. I would classify it as like all of a sudden you're just chilling, you're just doing your thing, you're making breakfast, whatever. You're like stirring up your oatmeal, and then all of a sudden you just see this like image of yourself doing something freaking insane, and then it just kind of goes away, and then it just keeps reoccurring, and then all of a sudden, at some point in your life, you find yourself in that moment, okay, and then the comfort is so amazing, so insane, like you're just full comfort, like relaxed, like you just smoked like 10 dubs and had a massage and you're on the couch, but you're at the top of the roll-in about to do the gnarliest thing you ever done. It's insane.
Wow. And so do you have these like stored up? Do you know there's more in you? Like, have you experienced more, but you've not
Oh
lived it
yeah,
yet?
yeah, dude. And that's the scariest thing. The scariest thing is knowing what's inside, what's coming up, and it's terrifying because like some of them you're like, dude, no way. And the Cork 7 was terrifying for years. It's like I'm almost living in denial of them. Like it's like something deep is calling you to do something, and you're like, no fucking way. No fucking way. Like the hero's journey.
Wow.
You're denying the call
Yeah.
to adventure. And then eventually you get to a point in your life where you're ready to take it on, and then it happens, and I have loads of them, and I journal about them. I write them down in my book, man. I got like so many freaking notebooks, and they're just filled with these, and it's crazy, and so far pretty much all of them come up, and it's really kind of scary knowing the future ones, and you just like the whole time in your head you're like no 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 because your body's just
Mm.
like
Just
your
waiting for
body
it
and
to
your mind is
manifest.
like no dude, but it something ends up happening where it just ends up working out, and Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. Probably sounds pretty crazy, and I'm sorry for listeners listening to me trying to describe this state because it's actually undescribable, but it's very visual
Yeah.
and it's very potent, and there's a extreme level of comfort when it comes into existence.